Hello everyone, my name is Joshua. This is the 133rd video of my video journal series. Today's date is Sunday, the 21st of June, 2026. How's everyone been? I've been pretty good today, and I just stayed at home today, obviously, to rest from Supernova. But today I had a very nice dish. I made it at home. It was rice mixed in with a supermarket Sicilian pasta meal, which was basically some pasta mixed with tuna, which was really, really nice. And then I just put some anchovy in a pot, cooked it up, and it came out delicious. I know not a whole lot of people like anchovy, and that's understandable. I don't like it in like large chunks. I've had it on pizza, which is lovely, but in that part, I guess in that meal I had, no, it was really nice. Obviously, it was very salty, but no, it was just basically a bunch of fish, pasta, and rice all in one. Usually, I just put the pasta meal and the rice in. I don't usually put anchovy, so it was my first time having anchovy within that dish. But no, it was delicious, and I had some like leftovers because I got KFC yesterday because I was too tired to like make something at home when I returned from Supernova. So I just got some KFC and yeah, I reheated some of the tenders. And is it just me, or does KFC taste better when it's reheated? I might be alone in saying this because I've spoken with a lot of my other friends and they don't like agree with me. They think, oh, Josh, you're weird, you know. Who thinks that KFC is better reheated? But no, it just tastes a lot better when you reheat it in the oven. When you buy KFC, original pieces of chicken, tenders, or whatever, you just eat a few of them. You're like, hey, I'll save some for later, put it in the fridge. Next day, put it in the oven, comes out crisp. You know, it just tastes so good. And I remember my dad, he found like a KFC chicken tender recipe online. I'm pretty sure it was because a few years ago they discovered, I think it was in someone related to I think it was Colonel Sanders' wife or someone related to Colonel Sanders who had a recipe for the chicken tenders, and they released that online because they found it in like her will or something like that, or in a grave. I don't know, but they posted it online, and my dad followed the instructions. I remember he used to make like homemade tenders at home using that recipe, and it tasted exactly like the ones at KFC, but like a lot better. They're a lot more crunchier, a lot more, I guess. You know, what's the word? Just a lot tastier, essentially. And those were kind of like the reheated KFC which I had today. Kind of reminded me of my dad's old KFC style chicken tenders, and I don't know if I can find that recipe online. It's most probably available somewhere, but the way he used to make it, you know, was top notch. In fact, it was actually better than KFC because usually when I go to KFC, usually, but I don't really go there much anymore. But you know, when I step foot in the store, usually all their tenders are quite soggy, quite meh. But when you reheat it, it just tastes wow, just tastes so good. I don't know if anyone else shares that same opinion, but like KFC reheated tastes a lot better. Um, but anyway, today's topic is not about KFC. It's about home movies, which is essentially, you know, when you were a kid, right, you used to make like movies and short films and just like random videos that you'll upload to YouTube and all that. Like me, for instance. I mean, when I was growing up, I used to make a lot of like movies at home or just videos of my brother and I mucking around, and well, most of his videos were us mucking around, and especially when we were with our cousins, we used to do a lot of mucking around, you know, playing with each other and all that, you know, having fun. But yeah, I remember my brother and I, we started making a lot of like just like random videos. So we would just like get a camera, right, and we would just like record ourselves like playing with Lego and creating our own fictional stories. And there's real magic to, I guess, homemade movies, you know, or just homemade movies, fan creations, and all that. You know, I today I was actually watching through some of them on YouTube. You know, like people's just old fan creations or fan films, even like those back in the day with like the camcorder, before YouTube even existed. And I'm sure we can all relate to that experience, where we all aspire to be young filmmakers, or we just wanted to like muck around and get a camera and just do whatever on camera. Lego stop motion. I remember watching a lot of those videos on YouTube. Um, and just like all these like fan films and animation projects and all of that. But when I was a kid, yeah, I actually did a lot of recording, but I didn't upload those videos onto YouTube. I wish, because I don't know where those videos are. They must probably deleted on some old phone. Because I really want to archive some of my like earlier stuff, and I did record a lot of videos with my brother and with my cousins that I wish I still had today, or at least I like wish I'll be able to like locate it. But yeah, so I used to make a lot of homemade movies. Well, you can't really call them movies because they're just more like short videos of us just doing whatever. But yeah, we would just like play, like we would just record ourselves, trying to create like our own quote unquote Lego movie. Where we'll just hold like Lego minifigs, my brother and I, and we'll create like our own stories and whatever, try and create our own quote unquote movie. Um, I remember, man, you know, doing that with a bunch of my other figurines I have at home when I was a kid. I used to make even a Flipnote Studio animations, which are available on my main channel, which is not the Prime Minister at Aussie Prime Minister. I know, but yeah, I made a couple of Flipnote animations all the way back in like 2019, 2020 on my 3DS, and those are available on my YouTube channel. They've been archived. But yeah, I like doing a lot of Flipnote Studio on my DS, even though I was really good at animation. I just literally took photos using the inbuilt camera on the Nintendo DS, which was a pretty like okay to badish quality. But when you put it through Flipnote Studio, it just goes to like pixels essentially. But it was still something at the end of the day. But yeah, I just like doing a lot of that. Flipnote Studio, if you remember, a lot of people still use it now, surprisingly. Um, I used to do just a lot of drawing as well, but yeah, I just like recording videos, and that's what got me started here on YouTube, I guess. Um, but yeah, there's just a real charm to, I guess, not even homemade movies. It's just videos that you record at home of you, I don't know, just doing anything, like it could just be you trying to create like a movie, you playing around with your toys and trying to create like a fictional story, really unleashing that sort of imagination within a child's brain, I doubt I'll ever have that, I guess, extent of imagination ever again, but just I guess me saying this now just brings back all those like memories of, yeah, my brother and I just hanging out making like essentially shit posts. All right, they were basically shit posts, given how like low quality they were. But yeah, I honestly enjoyed making them, and whenever friends were over, we always used to like record videos like that. Sometimes it'll be serious, like hey, let's get together, record like a short video or film or whatever. Could be for a school project. Other times, it's just for fun, or it's just videos of us like playing around in like the backyard or whatever. So yeah, I quite like home movies. Should I call it home movies or homemade movies? I'll call it homemade movies because I know there's a TV show called Home Movies, and I don't want to get that confused. But yes, so basically, homemade movies, videos of yourself at home, which I guess this could be a homemade movie essentially, but I like to, I guess, sort of classify it as a video journal series or archive. But I was thinking of maybe doing like some more, I guess, amateur or homemade movies again. Just basically me with a camera making a movie within a day and seeing what the results are. That's a challenge I would like to do. Try to make maybe like a 20 or not 20, maybe make like a 10-minute film in one day. That's something I like to do. Like a short film, where I'm the sole actor and I gotta like work around that like limitation, essentially one setting, one actor, limited range of sound effects and clips that you can use. Well, guess now the internet you can use anything, but you only have like one day to put it all together. So yeah, that'll be something I'll be, I guess, interested in. I haven't really came up with a con. Haven't really come up with a concept. Sorry, for what I'm gonna do, but I might not even upload it to YouTube. Like, obviously, this is just me talking about like a hypothetical sort of thing. But no, I'll certainly like to do a challenge where I try to make a short film in a day. Um, Certainly be something I'll be interested in, and yeah, like honestly, I just wish I can like be in that creative, I guess, mood again. But I think now because I've grown older and all that, I think to myself, all right, well, what is the purpose of me doing this? There's a purpose for me doing this video journal series, that is to archive my life and all that, and it's something I've been passionate about. But to make a film that nobody would see, and just for myself, I got to think about, all right, what is the purpose? What is the artistic direction of this film? What I'm going to use this film for? But when you're making homemade movies as a child, you're just doing it for the fun, I guess. Just the fun. But when you grow older, you realize how tough filmmaking can actually be. So that's why films always come with, I guess, a creative purpose, a meaning attached to why they created that film, why that person decided to spend their time and effort trying to make a movie. And movie making, like, it's always been something I've been very interested in. Just like the whole process behind how to make a movie, how to market a movie. That's what I always loved, watching behind the scenes of like major films, like Jurassic Park and all those movies. You know, just seeing how like all the animatronics were made and what techniques they used back in the day before, I guess, CGI was widespread. Um, so yeah, like I always liked watching those like behind the scenes sort of thing. But then I realized, yeah, it is quite hard to make a movie. You need like a large crew of people and a big budget to make like a blockbuster. But when you're making a homemade movie, it can just literally be you and a camera, and that's it. You can just use whatever as props. And basically, I feel like early YouTube was essentially just home movies, before people, I guess, or should I say corporations, essentially took over and they put like a bunch of ads on the platform. I mean, by ads, I mean, corporations creating social media accounts and putting ads and just, people. I guess like the commercialization of YouTube, essentially. Because YouTube's original slogan was broadcast yourself. Now YouTube, it's it's a lot different, obviously, than it was in 2005. I mean, I was -1 years old when it launched, but I feel like, yeah, YouTube is a little bit more, I guess, you know, it's more like, on one end, it's, I guess, you get like a lot of like creators who produce like high quality stuff. Now you can basically get like documentary material all for free on YouTube, but on the other hand, I feel like it's grown into like this very, very big platform, which is good, but there's also like a lot of like AI slop and corporatization behind it. There's always like a dark side, quote unquote dark side of YouTube. Obviously, when YouTube launched in '05, it was a much smaller place, and obviously people didn't really upload videos to the internet before YouTube launched. So it was basically just a bunch of home movies. Come to think about it, if you go to, I guess, YouTube and just look at any videos uploaded from like '05, '06, '07, you'll just find that they're like a bunch of like vlogs and home movies from when uh, YouTube was like non-existent. So that's, I guess, just like the charm of old YouTube, or just home movies in general. They're created before, I guess, everyone had a recording device, or before everyone could upload this sort of stuff to the internet, because it was just made not to really, I guess, like, obviously it was just made for whoever's viewing it. Like the viewer, like, how do I put this? It was, those home movies made before the advent of YouTube and by extension the internet were made, you know, to basically be viewed by the person who made it. Essentially, the sole filmmaker. They weren't uploading these videos or sharing these videos with like other people to gain like money, fame, or status. Really, they just made these videos, um, or movies or whatever, just for their own enjoyment, which relates back to what I said earlier. Obviously, now people upload videos so that it can be viewed by millions globally, which is obviously a good thing. It shows how far we've come. It's not necessarily bad per se, but I'm just saying that earlier YouTube videos were made, that's something you got to keep in mind. They were made essentially as vlogs, as you know, pieces of, I guess, an archive of that person's life. Um, just how can I put this? It's basically made. Um, it's just made in a different way. All right. I was looking for a very, I guess, fancy expression to put this, but I guess that's the charm, because you're like, hey, this was all done before, the advent of the internet. They just did it like so then they can just, I don't know, like show it to some of their close friends, or just to get like some personal enjoyment out of it. That was their, I guess, creative purpose. Yes, that was their creative purpose. Um, for, I guess, a lot of fan films and home movies made before the internet. Um, and yeah, like it's just honestly impressive how they were able to do about like 30 years ago. Even a lot of fan films even date back to like the 80s and 90s. I think Raiders was the first fan film ever made. That one was based off Indiana Jones. I forgot when it released. I think it was in the 80s. Oh, when like the person made it. But that's like the magic of it. Obviously now everyone has a recording device. Everyone can upload videos to YouTube. But now, uh, like for me, right? I'm recording this when YouTube is a thing. This video is intended for YouTube audiences, so you know that is my, I guess, creative purpose, to upload videos of my life up onto YouTube, um, and yeah, like that is basically the creative purpose. But what I'm saying is that the creative purpose of someone, I guess, 30 years ago, who made like a homemade movie or video journal or whatever, would have just been for them only, sort of thing. They weren't intending to upload this to YouTube. And I know I spent a very long time explaining, why people made videos before the internet, essentially for enjoyment, quote unquote. But that's something you have to keep in mind when you view like old camcorder footage from like the 90s and all that, and early 2000s, is that why was this person recording this specific thing? It was obviously before they could share this video online, so you would have just had to be for personal enjoyment, or I guess archive. They would have never known that, I guess, a site like YouTube would have propped up into existence, and they'll be able to share these videos all online. Which is why, like I've watched a lot of like people who've done like video journals and vlogs and all that in like the 90s and early 2000s. They've uploaded their videos on YouTube. There's like a bunch of people who've done it. And I've watched those type of videos onto YouTube where it's like someone recording themselves, essentially what I'm doing, but it's like in the 90s, before the advent of the internet. And I find that really fascinating, because I'm like, if you were to like record yourself 30 years ago in front of a camera, people would go like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? What does he think he's part of like a documentary or film crew? But now when people record themselves, no one really like thinks twice about it. They're thinking, oh, this guy's got uploaded it online. Yeah, so that's like the thing I'm trying to like go with. Like what was the perspective? Why did this person decide to record themselves? You know, um, essentially analyzing the specific film source, and you know keeping in mind that whenever I guess you see footage uploaded onto YouTube that was made before YouTube, it would have had a different creative directive in mind, or like I guess a different purpose in mind. I must have put this like the most horrible way possible explaining it, but essentially, yeah. What I mean to say is, I just find home movies made before YouTube extremely, extremely fascinating because they weren't really meant to be shared by millions of people. They'll just be meant for the person who created it and maybe close family, friends, whoever they showed it to. And that's why I find the magic. When I made all of those like home movies, years and years ago, obviously YouTube was a thing, but I didn't upload these to YouTube, but nor did I intend to. That was not my creative purpose. My creative purpose was essentially creating these videos for my enjoyment only. And that really showed how, I guess, creative I was as a child and how enthusiastic I was to make about short films. And I'm very sorry for my poor explanation. It's just that I didn't really prep for these videos, and I was just looking for that like very good way of how to put that, I guess, context behind clips that you see, when they were uploaded, what era they were uploaded in, before or after YouTube's creation, and all of that. But no, obviously, me making these videos with YouTube in mind, obviously, I guess it allows me to like talk to you, the audience. Like to respond to comments, to see how my videos are doing and all of that. That sort of like interactive element. Um, but by and large, I also want to like to take the series in the more like the traditional old school route. Just me recording this, no special effects, no cutaways, no nothing. Just as basic as possible because I got to chug these videos out every day. Um, but yeah, that's the power of home movies. I just like you know, as a kid making those, not really like stop motion. It was just like me playing with my Lego minifigs and creating like fictional Lego settings, all my plush toys or action figures, and just creating like you know whatever I thought up on the spot. I didn't create like a script or anything. I'll just like play with them, record it, and just make up a fictional story as I went on, which would have not made for, I guess, uh, entertainment per se or good quality entertainment, but it was something, and um, I'll really like to see those videos again. I don't know where they've gone, but I wish I would have preserved them properly. But yeah, I'd like to hear your perspective on you know, today's topic, and you know, what do you think of, I guess, the movies that you made when you were a child, or short clips or whatever? The ones that I made for school, like video projects for school, I'm extremely proud of, because I put like a lot of effort into making like a lot of like jokes in them, just slipping like a joke or creative element into it. I always loved doing video projects in school, for like science or um, English or whatever subject. It's been obviously years since I've done a video project, but whenever we got assigned one, whenever it be myself or in a group, kind of reminded me of doing home movies as a child, essentially. And then, I think you've seen some of them uploaded into YouTube, like people's school assignments and all that. They're just so funny. Like, not like in a mean way, but like they intend to make it humorous, which is something I've always appreciated and something I did when I was younger as well. Um, uh, and or just like videos where you just see like it was clearly made within the hour, and it's just like low budget as possible, but it's still enjoyable, because it just brings that homemade charm. They're not trying to be, I guess, a big budget Hollywood film, but not even like a short film for that matter. They're just trying to like make do with what they have just in the room around them, and they just get up and it just really brings out the creativity when you got, I guess, limited tools. And I don't know, it's funny, it's just like few people mucking around or having a good time, recording themselves, uh, doing whatever, and that's the power. Excuse me. That is the power of homemade movies. Now, I know I didn't really touch on everything in this video, and realistically, I can go on and on and on, but yeah, that's just, I guess, all the memories that popped into my brain. Certainly, more will come later on in this series, but you know, yeah, I just really felt like I wanted to make a video on this and to really, I guess, sort of reignite those memories, of making homemade movies and just like short clips or videos of, uh, you know, my brother and I and some of my family, just essentially having fun and all that. And I feel like it's something that I guess a lot of you can also relate to. But yeah, that's the end of today. I can close that book. Is there anything else I want to say about today? Apart from today's topic, not really. Um, Obviously, I don't have anything. I don't have much booked for next week, which is good. But things always pop up last minute, as I always say. But yeah, I'm definitely working on the my other archive projects and all that. I'm also thinking of starting new projects. I know there's the whole Sydney a work in progress project on my main channel. But I think I'm gonna be a little bit. I'll have to be a little bit more prolific with that one, because I don't go to the city much, anymore. So I need to, you know, I guess take that opportunity whenever I go outside to the city just to take a lot more photos and videos, or even just just the surrounding suburbs, anywhere in Sydney that isn't just solely near where I live. I like to document it thoroughly. But yeah, other than that, I still got lots of time, I guess. What better time to plant a tree than now? I know that's an old saying, but yeah, basically an update on all my projects. They're going quite swimmingly, and yeah, I can't wait to show all to you guys or gals or um, whatever you wish to identify, um, because YouTube is a site for everyone. Broadcast yourself. I really wish they just bring that slogan back. Come to think about it, um, it was a very good slogan, very good slogan, and that's what I'm doing right now, broadcasting myself. Granted, not live; it's pre-recorded. But I think that's enough of me talking. I'm going to close all these books, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye. See you. Take care. Catch you all tomorrow.